I'm cruising down Long Island Sound, starting in Port Jefferson. It was a nice sail, picking up a mooring on my own in Port Washington. And then my dogs and I continue heading down the East River to New York City. We had spent the previous night on a mooring in Port Jefferson on Long Island. Conditions were extremely calm that morning, and before getting underway, I took the dogs ashore for a walk. It's actually, I don't know why I skipped over this place on the way up here the first time. It's quite nice. It's a really cool downtown. There's a big ferry, comes over from the mainland, lots of restaurants and dining. And they have a big park. Like last night, they had a band playing in the park. It was really nice. I kind of watched them for a minute over there, and then I came back to the boat afterwards, and I can hear them just fine on the boat. So pretty cool. Yeah, Port Jefferson. It's kind of a cool spot. I like it. I'm going to take the boys for a walk this morning. And then we're gonna get on moving to Port Washington. Let's play Twister. There's a huge park right on the water in Port Jefferson, and next to that, plenty of dining options.
I'll see you in heaven if you make the Now, Andy, did you hear about this one? Tell me. All right, heading off here is so calm. Like, I'm glad there was no other boats in the mooring. We would have been bumping for sure. Because whenever it's just like dead calm, there's no wind and there's no current, the boats are just drifting. I mean, on a tight mooring field like this, the boats tend to like kind of drift together. So it's not good on a crowded and a tight mooring field like they do up here. But all right, 36-ish miles to Port Washington today. Take, around 6 hours, something like that. Locked in the pines. Andy, are you goofing on Elvis too, baby? Are we losing touch? Well, the wind picked up, but unfortunately it picked up right on the direction we're coming from, like exactly. So it's like 10, 12 knots, so we're going straight into it. So kind of sucks. We should have like a knot of current taking us that way, but the wind is like kind of negating that current. So now we're still doing 6.5 knots, but here in about an hour and a half, the current will turn around the other way, so it'll be going really slow. Oh well, whatever it is. About 25 miles to go, something like that. If you believe they put a man on the moon.
Eventually, I turned a little bit, and the wind started cooperating enough to sail.
If you believe there's nothing up their sleeve, then nothing is cool. Moses went walking.
I was just putting along on very little wind, but I wasn't in a hurry.
Newton got mean by the apple. All right. Why is my autopilot beeping at me? Did it get too slow to arrived. Okay, never mind. I set it to my destination. Well, not my destination, where we're going to turn into the bay. So it was telling me, hey. So I was able to get in a little sailing here. The wind's dropped off even more now. It was like 10, 11. Now it's dropped off to 7, 8. And I've only got the Genoa out, and we got a knot of current against us. We're only doing like 2 knots. So anyway, I'm going to motor in a little bit. And then once we turn into bay, I just got to go around the corner here and we'll get into Port Washington and pick up mooring. It's a little tricky doing a mooring by myself, but I'll show you how I do it. I'll set up a camera this time. I mean, basically I just got to get as close as I can to the mooring ball and then run. Egypt was troubled by the horrible.
The first thing I did was pre-position my boat hook to make it easier to catch the mooring.
Mr. Charles Darwin had the
It makes things a little bit difficult single-handed because once I get close to the mooring ball, I can't see it anymore. I had to run back to the helm to adjust my course.
Andy, are you goofing on Elvis? Hey, baby, are you having fun? If you believe they put a man on the moon, if you believe there's nothing up their sleeve, and nothing is cool.
The calm conditions were making it easy. This would be a lot trickier in stronger winds.
Here's a little
I doubled up my mooring line and I was set.
Here's a truck stop instead of St.
This is Manhasset Bay at Port Washington. It's a large and well-protected bay.
Mr. Andy Kaufman's gone wrestle.
The yellow moorings are city-owned moorings, and they're about $40 a night.
Andy, did you hear?
Port Washington is a nice town and some pretty great restaurants right on the water.
Are you locked in the pond?
And plenty of convenient dinghy docks.
Andy, are you goofing on Elsie, baby? Are we losing tough? If you believe they put a man on.
Don't forget, guys, I am giving away this boat in a prize competition drawing this January 31st. You can get your tickets at the link in the description or at sailingdoodles.com. And next year, one of you is going to be cruising around on my classic sailing yacht. No purchase necessary to enter, void where prohibited. See the website for details. All right, had a good time here in Port Washington, met up with some viewers, went out a couple nights, had a good time. So now I'm gonna head to New York City. I got a marina where I've not ever been before on the west side of Manhattan at Chelsea. And it was cheaper to stay for a week than for 5 days. So I'm gonna try that out. It's cheaper than the Brooklyn Marina by a significant amount. So who knows, you get what you pay for, right? But we'll see how it goes. So today I'm gonna get off the mooring here. I'm gonna head over to the marina and get fuel and then head down to New York City. So here in Port Washington, I've really been impressed with Long Island in general. So Port Washington, and then you got Huntington Bay, and then you got Port Jefferson. All really cool boating communities, really friendly people, really make it easy to go ashore. There's lots of dinghy docks and everything, and good boating community. I can see like maybe in the winter it kind of like calms down, like, because you know, I imagine most of these boats are out of the water because I'm sure it freezes over in here at some point. So anyway, I will say be careful here at the public dinghy dock, because right next door, literally like 10 feet away from that, is the law enforcement dock. And I made the mistake my first night here, coming in late to take the dogs for a walk. I tied up at the law enforcement dock and they got really pissed off. And I'm like, I'm sorry guys, it was an honest mistake. I know, I don't get why people get so angry. I mean, like, why couldn't you just be like, hey, you can't park here. This is the law enforcement dock, and like give me a ticket if I did or something, rather than just get so angry. Like, let them like berate me for 2 minutes and then said sorry. I mean, and then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go. You know, I mean, I could have talked back and then I'm sure I would have gotten a ticket or something, but I just like, you don't have to get angry. Just be like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. I'm like, oh, my bad. All right, I'm gonna start the motor and then head out. Hey, where you going? What are you doing? How you doing? All right, on our way. It's, you know, 3.5. Well, maybe by the time I get around, because I got to go up the Hudson a little bit. So I come down the East River, go over down around Financial District, and then up the west side of Manhattan to Chelsea Piers. I've never stayed there. So it's about 21 miles or 22 miles or something like that. So, you know, I should have some current with me, so maybe even 3 hours or less, because I timed this to have current with me, which, I mean, the current can rip at 3 or 4 knots through here, so I might be flying through the East River.
Out of the ruins, out from the wreckage.
All right, we're passing under Throg's Neck Bridge. And then right next to that is the Empire State ship. I think it is like a hospital ship, but I'm not 100% on that.
Last generation, we are the ones.
So I think I talked about it in a previous video, but we just passed by Hart Island. There's more than 1 million people buried on Hart Island. So it was like, you know, a training ground, and then it was during the American Civil War, it was a prison camp, and then it became like a sanitarium and like you know, a place like a quarantine place for people with, you know, disease and all that. And then they started burying. So whenever somebody dies in New York City and there's no one to claim them or pay for their burial, do whatever, which happens a lot, honestly, probably, they take the bodies out to Hart Island and they bury them there. So there's more than 1 million people buried on that island. Interesting. And then coming up right here, you got Rikers Island. I hear they're supposed to be shutting it down at some point, but it is still a prison where you do not want to be, I'm assuming. And then right behind that, you have Manhattan. We're also passing by LaGuardia Airport right there. So that is the boat. It's, I forget the name, the Basin Correctional Facility or something like that. Built in 1992, it was a floating prison, held 800 inmates, and it had it all the way, I mean, that thing looks like a piece of shit. And it held inmates until 2023. Pretty amazing. The last time I sailed through here in 2020 and 2021, it still had inmates in it, so that's pretty crazy. I wonder why they did it in a boat rather than on land somewhere. Maybe they just couldn't get the land, I don't know. But then right across the way is Rikers Island. Coming up on Hellgate here, this is kind of like where the channel is, the river is like the tightest, so I'm sure the current is the most. We're doing, I think, close to 8 knots or a little over 8 knots now, so we got a couple knots of current with us. Coming up on Manhattan. Yeah, we got about 3 knots of current with us, moving right along.
Looking for something we can rely.
All right, so this is Roosevelt Island. There's 2 channels. There's a east and a west channel. Normally you go down the west channel because there's a bridge here, the Roosevelt Bridge, which is closed high to like 40 feet. So obviously I can't go under that. But when the UN is in session, a lot of times they shut down that side, and I guess the UN's in session. So the police just came by and told me I have to go down the east channel. So normally you got to give these guys 2 hours notice, but surely, I mean, they got to make an exception when the other side's closed, right? So I called them up, and there's another boat, a sailboat. It looks like they're waiting on the bridge too. So he said 5 to 7 minutes they'll be opening. So cool deal.
There's got to be something better out there. Love and compassion.
So there are a ton of police boats out here. So I guess the UN's in session. But now my autopilot is giving me issues. It's like not acting correctly. So I've reset it, or I've turned the breaker off. I'm gonna recycle it, see if it'll work, I don't know. Okay, good, the autopilot, I turned it off and back on, and it is working. It was just, I think maybe the current was confusing it, and I kept trying to, you know, re-engage it, because like the current's, you know, blowing 3.5 knots, kind of pushing it sideways, and it just didn't understand what to do. So, anyway, but it's working. Wow, they got a bunch of Coast Guard boats here too, so, and like, I mean, I see at least half a dozen police boats out here, so anyway. All right, there is Manhattan. You got the financial district down here. It really is cool sailing through here. So I'm going under the Manhattan Bridge now, and then the Brooklyn Bridge, you know, it's iconic. On the other side of that, you got the financial district and, you know, downtown Manhattan, and then the Statue of Liberty off in the distance. Pretty cool. Problem is, I think I'll have to fight the current because all the current's coming out into the Atlantic. So the Hudson's gonna be feeding into that. So I'm probably gonna be into the current. So the last couple miles going up north, I'll be a little slower. So I did a whole podcast on this boat right here. This is the Grand Sail 2. It is a sailing cargo ship. You know, it's pretty big. I'm not sure, I don't remember how, I think it's like 40 meters or maybe 50 meters, something like that. So 120, 140, you know, 150 feet, something like that. You know, something like that. And it does cargo between Europe and New York, and it goes back and forth. It's, you know, slower than a traditional cargo ship, but not by much. And the thing is, it docks right here and unloads its goods right here. So like, whereas if you got a big container ship, it might take a couple days or a week to get all your stuff by the time the port unloads everything and the tariffs and all that. Whereas this little boat is a lot smaller. And so they're saying it does cost more to ship by it, but they're hoping to like build a bigger one even soon, like the Grand Sail 3, and you know, be doing with that. But I will link to that video if you would like to get more information about it. It's pretty cool.
That day is coming. All else are castles built in the air.
So this marina right here, I can't remember the name of it. I might pop it up on the screen right now. I just looked to see, because this one's like right in the heart of a financial district, so like, you know, all the super rich people would probably keep their boat there. I mean, you know, the World Trade Center's right there, you know. I don't remember how much it is. I want to say it's like $2,000 a night for this boat, like something stupid crazy like that. It's ridiculous. Maybe it was like $1,500 a night. I was like, oh my God, that is ridiculous. But whatever, and they've got a couple super yachts in there, with one that's got a helicopter on the back. I mean, you know, whatever. They got so much money, they don't care. So I looked this up too. There is like a mooring field right here. I mean, you're not protected at all. There's no breakwater, so like, it's gonna be a little choppy and rolly. But I think, you know, they had a max of like 40 or 45 feet maximum length for boats in there, which, you know, I'm obviously over, so I can't do. And I still think it was like $150 or $200 a night for the mooring there. There's a little dinghy dock, I guess you can tie up to. I pulled into the Chelsea Piers Marina where they had a space reserved for me on the dock. The conditions were calm and there was someone on the dock to help me, so it wasn't going to be too bad docking this boat by myself. Once I get slow backing into the slip, I stop using the rudder and start using my bow thruster to steer the boat. Being a full keel, this would be a lot harder without the bow thruster. Cougar and Merlin are my welcoming committee and always happy to see some new people. Although they're not the best behaved yet.
Get over here, Cougar. Come here.
Patrons in the Navy got access to the raw, uncut footage from this video.
Alright. Hoe stemt het hier met de vader al morgen?
Yeah, all right.